Hey guys, so today we're going to make an awesome bowl, quite possibly a ridiculous bowl, but it's awesome in my head, so we'll see how it comes out. First step will be to end up cutting out a circle, but I want to show you what we're actually going for here. So by the end here, I want it to be obviously a bowl, but the design I'm wanting to kind of come out of it will be pieces of wood on a diagonal, possibly even twisted. We'll see how it works out. But these will be walnut. Then filled in between will be epoxy. So I think it's going to come out really cool, but we just got to figure out how to do it. So first step, like I said, is we're going to cut a circle out of this, start trying to come up with a way to do this. So we've got our bucket, so I'm first going to get the diameter in here, which definitely sounds easier than what it is. I've been trying to think of a way to actually do this, but I'm just going to use my compass, get the diameter, and then measure off the compass. So I got 6 3/4 on the measurement here for the diameter of the base for the circle. Now you could take your compass over and make your circle. Obviously you would do half of that and then make your circle. But I'm going to cheat a little bit. I do have a laser back there, so I'm going to go ahead and let the laser cut out a perfect circle for me. If you don't, just draw your circle with the compass, take it to your jigsaw, to your bandsaw, cut it right out, but I'm going to take it easy. Alright, I got our circle, 6 3/4. I went ahead, made some crossbars, I guess you could say, just so we could have the center marked, and if I need to measure off of these, then we'll have them there. Now we've got to go to my laser closet. I did end up having to cut this down a little bit smaller. That 2 foot by 2 foot doesn't fit under my laser. Now you may hear some chirping while this laser is running. That's because I've got the little chickens living under here too. So watch out for Frank. Frank's a girl, but Frank's an angry woman. So I grabbed this random piece of scrap walnut I had, just so we could check. We got our circle now, perfectly circle. So setting it on here, I'm just trying to eyeball the exact size of, I don't know, sticks, I guess. I do want it to be twisted, so I'm going to cut a miter. Alright, we've got all of our pieces cut. I'm going to go ahead and start testing some angles that may work. We'll start with 15 degrees. Let's go see if this works. Alright, 15 degrees on our template. Not bad, but in my head, I'm picturing some pretty steep angles, really noticeable. So we'll step it up. 22.5 degrees is a setting on the miter, so let's try that out next. I think that's our angle right here. Looks steep enough. Now, too steep, we're going to have trouble fitting all these on here together. All right, since that works, we're going to now figure out how long these are going to be. So that's here. Let's see. Our bowl, just imagine it. Actually, let's go up a little higher. We'll do them about that. I don't even know what that distance is. I don't know, by 6 inches. I'm just going to take it over here to the miter saw, set up a stop. All right, we've got all those cut. I cut 13 of them. That should be enough. We'll see. If not, we'll change the idea. So before we start laying it out on the template, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick sanding on these. And Probably would have been easier to sand them when they were still full pieces, but I didn't do that. So now, the best way I could think to do it would be to try to clamp all these together. That way we can sand them all as one full block and then flip it over, do the same thing, and then we'll rotate them, clamp them back together. Now to connect these all to the template, we're just going to use the accelerator and the super glue. This will be the easiest way. Now we got our glue. We're going to start putting these on the template. Start with 4 of them on each line here, and then I'll put the one in between them there. I'm going to do 2 in each quadrant instead of 3. I might have said 3 earlier, so if I said 3, it's going to be 2. So dab of glue on the bottom. We're going to place it here. Now, it'd be nice if I could line it up just directly with the edge here, but it's going to have to be angled just a little bit because we'll start getting a weird shape for how much of this comes off the base. So we need to make sure it's turned to get as much angle inside the bowl as we can. If that makes sense, you'll see. All right, guys, I don't know if this is starting to look awesome or just a total catastrophe. I think it's looking pretty cool. So let's keep on going. Probably would have been easier to start with the center, but we have no choice now, so we'll figure it out. All right, like I said earlier, this may be a total catastrophe or it may be totally awesome. I have no idea yet. I'd like to get one directly in the middle. I think that would end up looking best too when you look down the bowl. So I cut one end just completely flat. I'm going to slide it right on down and glue it in the middle. Here's the finished piece of masterpiece. All right, now we can set it in the bowl. I was contemplating putting some super glue on the bottom of that template base for whenever we drop it in there, just so throwing in the epoxy could sometimes make it rise. But I think we got enough weight with the wood and the base to keep it all down. But if it starts to rise, we'll just put something on top. A lot of times when people are pouring epoxy like this for a bowl, you'll see them use a degasser. Just gets the bubbles out of it before you ever pour it in there. So if you have one, that's great. I don't yet. I think they're actually pretty cheap, so I may get one for the next video. But last time I used this epoxy, I didn't get any bubbles in a bowl like this, so I'm really not too worried about it. I blew off all of this with the air gun because you really want to make sure you don't get dust in there. I'm just going to go ahead and vacuum off my stirrer. Accidentally dropped the bucket on my pants on the floor, but the show must go on. I have this wrapped up. I am going to use it. It does seem to be lifting a little bit. Use this, put some weight on it. Finally, the day is here. The epoxy is hard. Now let's try to get it out of the bucket so we can get it on the lathe. Let's hope this comes out easy and it's not going to be too hard. Well, if this comes out looking ridiculous, at least we know how to make a pretty cool birthday cake. Alright, to start, I'm going to shave down the outside till we start exposing some of the wood on the sides so we know where it's at and what it's going to start looking like, and then we'll shape the bowl. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Alright guys, it's done. And for a prototype build, this thing looks awesome. I love the spirals here on the outside and how it comes together on the inside rim. That looks awesome. Now for the final product, I would change the design for the bottom. That didn't come out the way I imagined in my head at all, which is fine. That happens. That's why this is a little prototype. I'll probably go with some kind of design, like lay the wood over and make a spiral. I don't know. There's 1,000 other options. But for the outside, that came out perfect. So I'm really, really happy.